right, Hailey, it is so good to see you. Before we begin, though, I guess I have to say congratulations on winning gold. That is huge. How you feeling?
Like speechless, every time you win a gold, like there's no words to describe the emotions, and it's kind of like a high that you chase over and over again. So I guess, on to the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so with like chasing that high, right? Does it ever feel as good as the first one? Or do they start to feel better?
No, the first one, I was so emotional. Like when they played the national anthem, like just tears like flew down I was just like sobbing, and I was like, it's just so incredible. And I think like, especially when you share it with like your teammates that you've bonded with for months at that point in a different country, like basketball every day, like it's just a different type of like celebration. And the first one is the best one, but this was my first like women's event, so it felt different because I was like, wow, like I just won a grown woman like gold medal. Like these are grown women, so like I was very proud.
That big one.
Yes.
I love that so much. Well, I mean, so many good moments and good videos came out of those moments. One that I was just watching was a video of you just breaking your opponent's ankles. And I bring that up because I hear you literally broke someone's ankles when you were much younger. Can you please tell me that story?
It's actually funny because my brother literally brought this up to me like 2 days ago, and he was like, can you stop telling this story? Like, I was like, why? Like, it's the best story. No, my brother, love him to death, my best friend on this whole planet. But yeah, we played one-on-one when I was like, I was like first or second grade. He was like fourth, fifth grade, and he was in a boot after. So that's all I'm gonna leave it at. My first victim. So
your first victim. Whatever you did, you crossed him up so bad that he ended up in a boot later. Is what you're saying?
Yes. He argues that it was his toe, like he broke his toe, but it was ankle. It was definitely ankle. We have the x-rays to prove it, so I have evidence.
So you can always say, oh no, I have truly broken someone's ankle. Y'all just talk about it. Yeah.
I have truly.
I love it. I want to talk about young Hailey a little bit more because I know that when you were in high school, at one point you had said, I could have 20 points at halftime and they'll still be chanting overrated. Yeah. Have you seen people's attitude towards your game change? Or is there still a hint of that you feel?
I think it's people's attitudes to my game probably haven't changed. I think whether I care what they think what has changed. As I've grown up, like I have learned that like it's none of my business what people think about my game, and I don't have to prove anything to anyone. And I think that's the only part that has changed. And ever since I've made that mindset switch, like I've played so much more free with so much more joy and like just pure love for the game. So I wouldn't go back for anything.
I love that because I always say it's not that people will ever start treating you better or talking about you better. It's that you get better.
Yes.
And as you get better, all of that stuff just kind of works out in the ways that you want it to. So when was that moment for you where you made that switch from caring to not caring as much?
I think it's happened like several times in my life, and you just kind of like go back into your old ways, like when in between my freshman and sophomore year of college, like I kind of like was like, okay, I need to make a change mentally because like I'm starting to feel drained, like caring and trying to please everybody and wondering if people think I'm good or not. And that was when I first was like, okay, this is an issue I have. Like I care too much. And then like I did good for a couple months and then like went right back to it, like was worried what the analysts were saying about me, where I was projected in this and this. And like I just fell back into it. But I really think this summer I've done a lot of work on it and like self-reflection. And I've been able to carry it through. Like, I carried it through this World Cup, and like, people feel a way about like how we celebrated, and people feel a way about my like decision to go to LSU. And like, I can truly say like I have peace in knowing that I don't owe explanations to anybody for how I am, my personality, like my decisions. Like, people are gonna feel the way they're gonna feel, and that's out of my control. And the only thing I can control is how I choose to feel about myself. And so like, I've been really proud of myself that I've been able to like, you know, keep that mindset steady, like, because it's easy to adopt it for a month or so, and then you kind of like go back to the old Hailey. But I can say like confidently now, like, I'm very consistent in how I show up for myself every day.
I love that. And I'm so happy that you feel like, you know, you have gotten to that place. You mentioned self-reflection. What does that look like for you? What are the questions you're asking yourself in those moments?
Yeah, I think, you know, like, the major one for me is like, I come off as such a confident person. Like, I'm such a confident personality, you know, but at the end of the day, when I was realizing that I cared so much about what people had to say, like if they thought I was an elite shooter, if they thought I could play defense, like I was like, is that what a confident person would feel? Like, would a truly confident person like really care? And that's when I was like, okay, I give off this persona that I'm super confident, but I clearly, like, on the inside, that might not be who I am yet. And I gave myself grace. I was like, that's okay. But the first step is like, you know, realizing that maybe that's just a persona that I give off, and I'm not truly confident deep down. And once I was able to like discover that about myself and accept that and be like, that's okay, we can work on that. Like, I've made like leaps and bounds, and life is just so much more peaceful. Like, that's the most part. Like, just life is peaceful. I'm happy. I'm joyful. Like, the world just brings things to you, that you want when you're in a positive headspace. So.
Absolutely. And that's so interesting too, because it kind of speaks to this idea that a lot of the times what people maybe think of us, it's not that we aren't that, but we maybe aren't that yet. And so you're feeling like you're having to catch up to the persona that's out there about you, while also trying to become that person. And you were also doing it in front of so many people, figuring out who you are. So I'm really happy that you feel you have reached that peace and that clarity within your life, because I think that's really important. It's going off of that, I think life is moving really quickly for you. How are you staying just sane generally?
I know. You know, I've been like focusing a lot on just being in the present. And like, I feel like, especially when we were trying to win the gold medal in Europe, and it's so easy to like look ahead to like, oh, we're gonna match up with this team eventually. Like, you just like, I just want to win the gold medal already. Like, you get anxious for the future. And like, then I was like, I'm not really enjoying this like wonderful moment that I have with these 3 other girls that I might never play with again in this like beautiful country. Like, you just don't get to enjoy life as much when you're living in the past and the future. And so I think, you know, I was able to like really center myself and take it day by day. And, you know, I came out of that experience like having had so much fun. So I think like that's something that I'm going to try. You know, life is moving super fast. I've got a ton of new phases in my life that I'm about to enter, but the only thing that I can do is to try to enjoy all of it and truly take it all in, is like just be in the present, you know? I feel
Absolutely.
like any living any other in any other mindset it's just not gonna allow me to really be where I need to be.
Totally. Well, I mean, you know, not to put more pressure on you, but what do you want to mean to women's basketball?
I think, you know, there's a lot of different answers like I could give from like a skills standpoint or like an attitude standpoint. But I guess like I hope that when young like boys and girls watch me, is that they kind of find security that they can be who they are, and that their personality and who they are on the inside, like whether that shows in sports or whether it shows like in the classroom or wherever they choose to like develop in life, like it's okay to be you. Like you don't have to change. And I think the people that have impacted me most in my life, like that's what they've given me, is like it's okay to be Hailey. Like God gifted you these personality traits for a reason. Like don't be scared. And I think like above all, just be okay with who you are, because when you find that in life, you know, just good things end up coming your way.
Yeah. So who showed you that?
I think, you know, from the beginning, it's always been my family. I've been blessed with an amazing family. My parents, my brother, like, they have always supported me. They always have my back. Like, they want me to be Hailey. And then I think, you know, like, as I developed in my career and I was able to work with some NBA players and WNBA players, and, like, you know, I had my time with Kobe, and I'm close with Kelsey Plum, and I've talked to Kyrie and stuff like that, and all of them kind of give me the same message, is that, like, it's okay to be who you are, and, like, they just have validated me in that aspect, and that not a lot of other players that I look up to have. And I think, like, you know, it just was inspiring, and so I've been inspired in that way. So I guess, like, I hope to inspire other, like, young players in that way too.
That's great. I mean, and going off the list you just named, you have been able to meet some really popular people in just sports and culture, whether that's, I don't know, the people that you named, Jack Harlow, Odell, Kyrie, so many people. Which relationship or friendship has been the coolest for you?
You know, I will just talk about Jack Harlow for a minute, because, you know, he did a lot for my program at Louisville, and the team and the excitement around women's basketball. Like, he wore my jersey to a festival, and, like, it just, like, I feel like he's really, like, bought into women's basketball, and it's been cool to see him, like, invest in that way and be okay with, like, shedding some light on us. But no, he's been super awesome. Like, I just love, like, you know, whenever I get to see him, or I've been to a concert of his before and all that, and, like, you know, I think he's a great friend who's just, like, willing to give. And I think a lot of people, you know, all of those personalities and friendships that I have with other, like, big stars, a lot of people don't always see that side of them. And I think it's just, like, it's cool for me to be able to genuinely experience that and be like, you know, these are great people who always want to give back and help build other people up.
I love that. And I will say, so Jack is one of my best friends, and he is genuinely a huge fan of you, and he does support women's basketball. I remember sitting watching the WNBA draft with Jack, and a lot of people won't sit and watch that, and he was so into it. He has his favorite players, as he should. So I'm happy that you all have had a relationship, and you see just how much he does care about sports in general, but specifically women's athletes. I was reading that your left leg is shorter than your right leg. How does that affect your game, and what accommodations do you have to make for that?
No, I mean, I've had it ever since I was little. Like, I have a actual discrepancy in my femur length on my left side. And I used to, like, build up the outside of my basketball shoe, like, 3/4 of an inch. And when I got to college, the doctors were like, you can't do this. Like, you're going to tear your ACL. Like, this is just an injury waiting to happen. So I had to, like, retrain my body to learn to play at the uneven lengths. And, like, it was a ton of, like, physical therapy, a ton of, like, corrective stuff going on in my, like, skeletal space. And it was a lot of work, and it's still a lot of work. You know, I have to do it every day, because it's a problem I'm going to have forever. But, yeah, it's funny because, like, my whole right side is bigger. Like, my right calf is bigger, my right quad is bigger, like my right hand is bigger than my left hand. Like literally everything on my right side is bigger, and I compensate a lot on my right side. Like if people watch my game, when I'm off balance, when I'm shooting, I'm compensating on my right side too much. And so that's something that I've learned about myself, and I know when my shot's off, watch the film, look at where you're landing. Are you leaning on your right side? And so, I know that about myself now. So, but it's something that, God gave me that I'm just going to have to work through every day. Do I wish my feet were the same length? Yes. But at the end of the day, like I still am what I am with what he gave me. So, it's kind of a funny, like, joke to tell people when they first see me, like it's like the icebreaker in the classroom, like, my left leg is shorter.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, on the upper part of your body, do you like being called the lefty?
I do. Like, I love my lefty persona. Like, I think it kind of is like my edge. And it's funny to me because, like, sometimes I get annoyed because people are like, oh, like, she's so dominant left. I'm like, people that are right-handed are dominant right. Like, you just started talking about me because I'm left-handed. Like, come on.
Like, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yes. Like, it goes both ways, bro. Come on. But no, I love being left-handed. And I think, I have that lefty swag. There's like a myth that there's a lefty swag or whatever, but, I think I have it. So thank the Lord he blessed me with the left hand
because it came with some swag.
Yes, exactly. It wouldn't be the same if it was the right. For sure.
It wouldn't. As a right-handed person, I'll say the swag maybe would elevate if I was left-handed. I don't know. But I don't want to do that to people. You know what I'm saying? Your Twitter header has a quote that I really like. It says, "Are you doing this work to facilitate growth or to become famous?" What's your answer? And why is that message so important to you?
Yeah, I think I stole that from Kevin Durant, but like it always just like it was at a point in my life where it hit me really hard, and because I was like starting to blow up, and I felt like there was people around me that had changed their mindset, that maybe that this was something they wanted to do to become famous, and I still felt like I love basketball. Like at my core, I'm not like I'm not like a social media personality. I'm a little bit more reserved. Like I'm quieter. Like it's not something that I like would choose. And I think, like there's pressure on me to like be that social media personality. And I've just always went back to that. Like, are you playing basketball to become great? Because that's what I want to do. I want to be great at basketball. I want to be one of the greats. Am I trying to grow and be great at basketball, or am I continuing to play basketball to set myself up for other things like financially and like all of that? And I think, for me, I'm doing it to facilitate growth because I have a lot of things that I want to do with my career that haven't happened for me yet. But yeah, no, I definitely stole that from Kevin Durant. And it just like hit me. I was like, you are right. Like, facilitate growth. Like it was so true in that moment, and I just kept it there because I feel like, when sometimes when good things happen, like when I win the gold medal, like I've experienced success, like am I going to change the reason that I started playing basketball, or am I going to stay true to like that little girl that just wanted to be great? So
I love that. And so when you saw KD say that, it hit you in a way that you were kind of asking yourself, are the things that I'm doing equaling that facilitating of growth? And I think that for, honestly, a lot of athletes, it's easy to get caught up in the being famous aspect, and the work kind of becomes secondary. So keeping the main thing is really important. Have you been able to tell KD that message resonated with you?
I actually haven't yet. That's a good idea though. I should let him know. I've corresponded with him a little bit, especially over this last summer. He congratulated me on my commitment to LSU, which meant a lot. But no, I think that would be a good story because there are, like, he's one of those people that I do look up to in the fact that they seem very disconnected from the results that come with being a star, and that's what he is. Like he's clearly not in it because he likes the way that it makes him feel, or the things that he gets, or the attention that he gets. You know, he doesn't give off that energy to me, and I think like that's something I really respect about him.
For sure. Yeah, KD just wants to be great. So I love that you enjoyed that message. One thing that I have really enjoyed just recently really is the competitive balance that we continue to see in women's college basketball. When I was growing up, and still now, it's no shade to UConn, but it was like UConn was the standard. And it didn't matter, you were not going to beat UConn. That was just what it was whenever somebody talked about that program. How have you seen that continue to change in college?
Yeah, I think it was the same way for me growing up. Like, the only team I can remember ever watching when I was little was UConn. And, like, Maya Moore and, like, all those great players. And they set the precedent for women's basketball. But I think, you know, in today's climate, there's so many other schools that bring, like, immense talent to the table. And it's so much fun for me to just be a part of. Like, I've been lucky enough to come in the generation where we get to experience the growth of that, right? So the ones before us kind of set the table and broke the barriers. In my generation, we still have barriers to break, but we're also kind of reaping the benefits of all the hard work the players before us did. But no, it's like, it's something so special. I think like the women's NCAA tournament this year was just crazy because there was so much star power. And like, you don't always see that a lot in women's sports. Like, there was like just household names everywhere. Like, everybody knew who was playing and their names, and knew where they were from, and knew their high school stats. Like, it was just awesome it was just really great to see the game grow, because at the end of the day, like, that's all I want. Like, I want to see the game grow, and I want to see more opportunities be given to women, and you know, the attention doesn't all need to be on me, because a win is a win at the end of the day. And if my, you know, teammates are getting attention, or another girl on another team is getting attention, that's a win for the game of women's basketball and women's sports in general. So I think it's just been like, it's been very validating to see that like people are starting to buy in and realize that, you know, the parity in women's basketball is crazy now, and you better come to play every day, because you could get beat and sit home. So
absolutely,
it's awesome.
Any night could belong to any team. So I don't know if this question is going to make sense, but if UConn, you know, was the UConn of its time, who's the UConn now? What team, what program do you view as that?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I feel like none, because UConn was so tall. Like, nobody's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really, but I'm gonna, I feel like the closest that since I've been in college would have to be South Carolina, you know, with how dominant they were. Like, they had a really great season. This last season, they were obviously national champions, 2 seasons ago. Like, I think they're the closest that we've seen. But the game, like we were just talking about, like, the game is so strong now that it's so hard for you to see a back-to-back champion. And like like, there's no really dynasties. Like, it's so hard to build a dynasty now, because like everybody has good players. And so I think, the closest I could say is South Carolina, but like, realistically, like, I don't think there's anybody that's close to them.
Yeah, like, UConn is historically killing everybody. Like, it truly is wild. But speaking of how hard it might be to go back to back, you have a tall task ahead of you, helping LSU potentially do that. So let's talk LSU. I want to know, what did the first text from Angel Reese say?
Oh my gosh. Actually, I hit her as soon as they won in the semis, and after they won the national championship, I hit her right away, because like, I just loved her energy. I was like, keep being you, girl. Like, do not let anybody make you feel bad for being who you are. Like, you are a star. And like, and she hit me back. She's like, I love you, Hailey. Like, gave me all the love back. And like, it was great. And then ever since then, you know, we kept in contact, and I ended up choosing LSU, but no, I think I kind of reached out first because I was like, girl, like, I love your energy, like, keep it up. But no, she's been nothing but great to me, supportive, supporting me while I was playing overseas for 3-on-3, like, and she just seems like the type of girl that wants other people around her to do well and see them win, and that's what I respect and love about her.
For sure. I mean, y'all are going to have so much energy on that team. It is going to be a show night in and night out. So when you look at this LSU squad, what do you see?
I think there's a lot of personality, and a lot of people are worried about how it's going to mix. But I think at the end of the day, when you have the same goals, and that's to be the best that we can be as a team, that's not going to matter. And I think that I'm with a bunch of girls that have that same goal, and I don't think we're going to have issues on that front because we want to see the team do well. And that's the vibe I got from everybody, and I loved it. But I also see I see a little bit of like a glimpse of like a mini pro team. Like, it's kind of like we have so many WNBA prospects, and I really am excited because I think it's going to give me a taste of what the league is like, and playing on a team with such great players around me that like, how can I help this team that is already so good? Like, what can I do to help them? And I think I'm very confident in what I bring to the table, but also I think it's going to make me so much better for the next stage of my life, which is the WNBA. So, yeah, I mean, we could probably have a reality TV show next year. I'm not even gonna lie. It's gonna be all the vibes, but I think it's just gonna be so much fun to hoop with them. Like, it's gonna feel like, like a summer AAU. Like, you're just there to have fun and ball out. Like, I feel like that's what it's gonna be like, and I just can't wait.
So you said that you have been asking yourself, what can I do to make this team good, to make this team better? What answers have you come up with?
Yeah, I think I bring a different type of leadership that I'll be able to help with. I'm a little bit more of like a calm personality, a different taste. I think, I do have point guard skills. A lot of people are like, oh, she's not a point guard. Oh, she doesn't shoot. And that's a lie. Okay. I'm gonna come here, stand on 2 feet and tell everybody right now that's a lie. It's about what opportunity I've been given. And I think at LSU, I'll be given an opportunity to play point and show that I can run a team. And so I'm very capable of that. And I also think I have a unique shot making ability that kind of sets me apart. So, I'm excited to show like that part to me, but I'm also just really excited for all the ways that LSU is going to make me better. Like, I think defensively, they're going to make me so much better. I think, from a leadership standpoint, they're going to push me to be able to lead a team with other great players. And I think there's just, for as much as I can do for them, they can do so much more for me. So.
Yeah. As you talk about your shot making ability, that was actually what stood out to me so much watching the 3-on-3. And how did you see that improve just while playing in that World Cup?
Yeah, I think, a lot of people wonder like why I chose 3-on-3 this summer, because I had the opportunity to play for USA 5-on-5 teams, and I chose 3-on-3. And I think, like you said, it just pushes you to be better every single day. Like, you're going to get exposed if you have any weaknesses in 3-on-3. You're forced to guard.
Defense, anything.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't take no possessions off, baby, or you're going to be getting your ankles snapped, or someone's going to be dunking on you. So, no, it forces me to become a better defender. It forces me to become a better passer, to become a better reader, to become a better shot maker, to finish through contact. I'm in great shape. That's cardio to its finest. Mm-hmm. So, I think, every day we lost our first game in a tournament, and I really watched the film, and I was like, okay, Hailey, how can I be better, because we're trying to win a gold medal? And luckily I was able to take that information in, and it translated well every game after that. And, my shots started going in, thank the Lord. So, I think, just the immediate growth that I saw in that tournament, like, really reaffirmed why I chose to do 3-on-3 in the first place. Cause I think it's such a great environment to improve, as a player.
Yeah. No, and we could see that. It was really, really fun to watch.
Yes.
About 3 months ago, I remember you did an interview and you said that the ACC was the toughest basketball conference. Do you still feel that way, or has your mind changed?
Oh, well, now that I'm gone, I don't know, right? Like Hailey has left the building, so
yeah, it's a new game.
See, I don't know, I don't know. I think ACC and SEC are a little bit evenly matched. I think the star power in the SEC and the domination of certain players is a little bit at a higher level. But I think overall, like the evenly balanced, like, great teams in the ACC is also something that's overlooked. Like, there's even the middle of the pack teams are still really, really good, and they do really well in the NCAA tournament. So I think there's certain things about ACC that are better, but there's also certain things about SEC that are better. I mean, now that I'm in the SEC, I'm going to ride hard for the SEC. SEC is the best conference in the country. But I mean, if we're being honest, like, I think that there's different attributes to both that have their benefits.
Totally. Okay. Well, as we know, we have moved on to LSU. We are in the SEC. I want to talk about Louisville really quickly, just because I know there are some people that are probably still have some questions about things. So just broadly, what would you say is the number one reason you decided to make the move?
I think, it came down to my ability to be happy. And I had to put myself first in that instant. I felt like I had done my part and I had sacrificed myself and given my all to that program. And I was very grateful for the experiences I had there. But at the end of the day, I wasn't enjoying everyday life. And, it's not necessarily all Louisville's fault, but it's also, not all my fault too. So I think it was a situation there where I chose that I deserve happiness. Like, I deserve an opportunity to love life. And that was why I left. I had no idea where I was going to go. I was fresh in the portal. Like, what am I going to do with my life now? But, it was a really emotional, it was really hard decision. My best friends in my whole life I made at Louisville. I went to a Final Four, and I shared that with those coaches and those teammates, and some of the highs in my life have been there, but also the deepest lows in my life have been there. And I think that I was at the point where I felt like I had learned what I needed to learn from that situation and that environment, and I was giving myself grace to leave that and find something better for myself. And I think a lot of people speculate as to why I left, but that's exactly what they're doing, is speculating, because they have no idea what actually happened or transpired. And I haven't ever really given an explanation, because, like I said earlier, I can't control what other people are going to say, but I know in my heart that I made the right decision for me and my family and for women's basketball in general. So, I think on both sides, there's love and appreciation for the time that we had together, because I don't regret it. I don't regret going to Louisville. It made me, I'm a much better player and a much better person because of my experience there. But, like I said, I've given myself the grace and the opportunity to find something better.
Good. No, well, I'm glad you're able to have the space to say that, because it sounds like for you, mentally, you had to make that move. I don't know if most people think that it was something that you had to do for your happiness. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think, with NIL being a popular topic of conversation, and even like the ring chasing rumors, I think those are logical things for people who don't know the situation to attract to, for explanation as to why it happened. But it's definitely it was a decision made from the standpoint of, is Hailey happy? And can Hailey attain happiness in this situation? And that's where I made my decision off of. And I think, like, I don't feel bad for it, because at the end of the day, I had to choose myself, and I was ready to do that.
Good. Okay, and most importantly, do you feel happy now?
I do feel happy. And I think, like, I've grown so much, even this summer, and I've had all these experiences that I never would have had if I wouldn't have made the move that I made. And I think I've been able to impact certain people with my decision too. Like, I think some players they do feel weight and pressure to stay at schools that they might not be happy at, because they don't want to disappoint or they don't want to seem disloyal. But I think, the only person that you owe true loyalty to is yourself. And I think that, I hope that other players who were in my situation, who truly feel like they've got the most they could out of where they were, and that they weren't just truly happy with who they were in that situation, that they give themselves the freedom to go try something new.
Good. I mean, that's great perspective to have. I'm not going to ask you about specifics because I feel like you are not ready to discuss that. You just have to promise me that whenever you do want to talk about what happened, you come to me.
Yes, I know.
Also, too, was there any other schools you were debating? Once you entered the transfer portal, you're figuring it out, or was LSU the one? Do you have any other options?
LSU was my only official visit. I did talk to a few other schools, like, I was entertaining Stanford and in South Carolina, but, I felt like my relationship with Kim that I had previously, and, just the situation that school was in, I felt like I was at a point in my life where I was ready to take that on. And, I think that's why I said, like, I don't regret Louisville, because it turned me into the woman who I needed to be able to take LSU head on and do what is right with this opportunity. So, I think it was just a good fit on all ends. And it's going to make me better. It's going to prepare me for the league. And that's what was the main motive.
For sure. I will say there's going to be some very sad South Carolina and Stanford fans in the year they could have had you on the team. But no, that's great. I want to talk Kim Mulkey a little bit, because I just love seeing her outfits on the sidelines. She is like such a good coach and always dressed impeccably with her jackets. How would you style Kim Mulkey if you could style her?
Ooh, I do love her little girl boss, like, pantsuits. And the pops of color, I would probably add like a nice bag, because I feel like she never has a bag.
Ooh.
Like, I would probably get like, some designer bags, some designer shoes, just to like pop off. But I don't know, I'm more of like a street style girl too. So like, maybe I can convince her to like wear a little tracksuit one of these days. But I have no idea. She,
hey, you just say, Coach, let me style you for my first game.
Right. I should have put that in the contract. I should have put that in the scholarship.
Totally. I love it. Last little section for you. I love the video that is going around right now of when you had broke the gold medal, but you're holding it and you're like, doesn't matter, I'm the best. I want to contextualize what you mean in that moment. To you, what do you feel you are the best at?
I felt when I said that in the moment, it was like, we're the best in the world. Like, I'm a world champion. Like, my team, we're world champions. We're the best. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, like, now that like, when I watch the video, it's hilarious, actually. Like,
so
I think
good.
It's so funny. But, like, I truly was just so happy in that moment, and I felt so confident in who I was, that, like, I do think I'm the best, and that's okay. It's okay to believe in yourself. And I feel like sometimes, especially as a female athlete, we can be like, people put shame and guilt on us when we're actually have self-confidence and are like, no, I deserve this moment. I deserve this spot. And I just, I'm not going to shy away from that. Like, I am confident. I do think I'm a really good basketball player. Do I think I need to get better? 100%. Do I think that there are other great basketball players that I admire and think they're going to do great things for the game? 100%. But there's space for all of those things. There's space for everyone at the table. Everyone can eat, right? So I'm going to give myself my space. I'm going to sit down at the table and eat too.
Yeah.
And I think that, I just am unapologetic about it. And that's where the peace in life has came in. Like, I'm going to be me, and that's okay.
No, it is bringing me so much joy to hear you say that, because I was actually just talking about this. Like, last summer, I had interviewed Jason Tatum. And in the interview, we're talking about what it's like when he would show up to pro-ams. And he goes, I think I'm a big deal. And he said it so casually and with so much conviction, saying that he felt like he was one of the best and that he was a big deal. And I'm like, women should be able to say that exact same thing. Because male athletes talk about being the best, being the GOAT, being the king, all these things all of the time. And nobody really bats an eye. But if you're good at something, if you're one of the best at your craft, you should be able to say that because you feel it to be fact. So why do you think it's important for women to continue to outwardly express the things that they're really good at?
Yeah, I think, like you said, like, I think in these playoffs, like, Jimmy Butler was like, I'm the best player in the world. And that's okay. Like, I love that for you, Jimmy. I love that energy. But also, when a woman does it, like, don't come at us sideways. And I think that, I think that my teammate Angel Reese is a great vehicle for that type of energy. And I just can't wait to support her and back her. But I think, like, the game is gonna change when women feel comfortable in their sport, in their arena, to actually say how they feel about themselves and not always feel like, oh, being confident is unladylike, like talking trash is unladylike. Like, no, all these things are a part of sports, and it's what people love about sports. And I think that, I'm not scared to say those things about myself. Like, I think I'm the best, because I know that people that are truly confident and are at my level of self-security aren't going to take that as a threat. They're going to take that as an invitation to be around someone who is in the same headspace as them. And I think that that's why I've been okay with saying it lately, because I'm in that space where if someone said that to me, I'd be like, you right, girl. Like, you are hard. I want to play with you. Like, that was how I would respond, because, like, Cameron Brink won the MVP of the 3-on-3 tournament. And, like, I was ecstatic for her because she played great. Does that mean that I didn't play good just because she played great? No, I still had a great tournament too. Like I said, there's room for everyone at the table. And I just feel like now that we're in a place where young girls in college, it's like there's always been the older WNBA players who have kind of pushed the boundaries, but now, like, there's this avenue for these young college players to really express themselves and show self-confidence. I think we're going to see another level reached in women's basketball and women's sports in general as this kind of comes to life a little bit.
For sure. I mean, and you have no shortage of confidence on the court. You seem to be a very good trash talker. Would you agree?
I do. I think it's one of my strong skill sets. Like, if you're going to list pros and cons, like, the number one pro of Hailey Van Lith is trash talking.
So what is the key to, like, a good dig on the court?
I think, like, kind of being calm about it is like, like, you don't need to scream in their face. Like, when you say it calmly, I feel like it's much more intimidating. Like, if I can just look you dead in your eye and tell you that I just gave you a bucket without screaming, like, you're going to take that personally. And I feel like that's my strength, is I can trash talk and be, like, in a normal, like, level of voice. Like, I don't have to scream at you. Like, we can have a conversation.
Just stating it is like, this is what happened. Like, deal with it.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so from just what you've gathered up to this point, who seems to be the best trash talker on LSU?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm gonna let Angel Reese have her crown, right? Like,
Yes.
it's her moment. She's definitely braver than me. Like, she has no, like, she does not care. And I love that for her. And I can't wait to be laughing on the court next to her when she's doing
Yeah.
it. But no, I think she's the queen. I'm gonna give it to her, you know.
Good,
Like, she
good.
deserves it.
Yeah. Something that's really so great about watching you and Angel as well is it's clear that you all have had coaches in your life that have nurtured that personality. Like they have allowed you to be emotional. Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and how does that help you? Because I think sometimes you'll see coaches that have a player, you know, that is passionate, that is fiery, and they maybe think they have to reel that in. Whereas for you, that passion is what makes you a really good basketball player.
Yeah, I think, you know, like a coach and player relationship is something that a lot of people undervalue. And I think as a player, for me, when I feel like seen and recognized and valued by my coach, like my potential just goes skyrockets. And when I feel comfortable in who I am as a person, and I feel like my coach accepts me for that, like my potential is going to skyrocket. The limit is going to increase. And, you know, I've had coaches through all levels that have, I've been blessed with a lot of coaches that have affirmed me and let me be myself. You know, probably the best one that comes to mind is my dad. Like, you know, he was my trainer my whole life. You know, everything that you see on the court, he made, right? He made in the gym with me when I was 7, working out. That attitude that I have, like he showed me that it's okay to do that. And yeah, like I think when you're encouraged by the people in your circle that however you feel, like express it and be unapologetic about it. You know, there's a way to be respectful, 100%.
Yeah.
And I've been raised to be very respectful. So there's no issue in that. But I think, you know, I've been blessed with people in my circle who are just cool with me being Hailey. And, you know, not all players are blessed with that. And I think that that's something that I can help share with the world.
I love that for you. I love it. Okay, well, last thing, just speaking of trash talking, you know I have to talk about this because it was such a big moment just in basketball generally. So when Caitlin Clark did the "you can't see me" gesture, it was against Louisville.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was directed towards you. Walk me through it from your vantage point with Caitlin Clark.
It was actually hilarious because right after the game, I texted her and I was like, the media is dumb. I'm sorry. Like, you guys have no, like, they just make stuff up. And then they just put it all over the internet and everyone thinks it's true. Like, it's just hilarious. We were laughing about it because she did it to her strength coach. Like, she didn't do it to anyone on our team, especially me. Like, definitely not towards me. She did it to her strength coach, and it wasn't even in a moment where I didn't even see it in the game. I was probably, you know, dribbling the ball up the court after she just hit a 3 in our face. So, you know, like, it's just funny how, like, camera angles and perceptions are skewed through the media, but it was hilarious. We laughed about it after.
Wrong. You guys
oh my gosh. I don't even remember, like, I didn't even see it happen. So my perception, like, I don't even have one because I didn't even know it happened until I saw it over Instagram later. No.
I can't. So is this the first time you're being asked if it was to you?
I mean, in person, yeah. Like, people have speculated and, like, you know, said it on social media, like, does Hailey, like, was it to Hailey? And I've just never answered because, like, who cares? But, like, no, like, this is my first time, so I'm clearing it up, guys. Caitlin Clark did not do this to me. And if she did, that would have been hilarious and we would have laughed about it too. Like, it's not that serious.
No, I love getting this context. It's important. So I love, but I love
100%.
also what that gesture ended up meaning. Like, it was just such a moment. And I love, you know, women's basketball should have these moments. You know, it should be about what happens on the court. It should be about personalities. At times it should be about drama. Like, that's what makes sports fun. So
100%.
So many of you have just continued to make this sport everything that we love. So it has been such a joy to watch you. I can't wait to watch you at LSU. So last one for you, just what do you want to prove to probably yourself this season?
You know, I think it's a loaded question because I'm like, what do I want to prove to myself? And I think like what I've been focusing on lately is like everything I need and everything I want to have, I already have it. I already have it. It's just up to me whether I believe that I have it. And, you know, that's actually a scripture that I've been studying a lot out of the Bible is like, before you ask, you have to believe that you have received it to have received it. And I think that, you know, giving myself space to be like, okay, if this is what I want, I already have it in me. So how do I bring it out of me right now? Because it's already in me. The player that I want to be is already inside Hailey. Like, how do I allow myself to let it shine? And I think like, you know, that's what I'm trying to prove to myself is like, I have it all in me. Like, Hailey just got to figure out how to bring it out. Like, got to figure out how to channel it. So,
yeah. Well, you go and receive all those things. I am rooting for you. Hopefully, I can see you when I am in New Orleans. If y'all have a game, I'm going to go to Baton Rouge. I'm going to come watch. I love watching Angel, love watching you. So thanks so much for your time. You were fantastic.
No, thank you.